I'd like to share my thoughts and experiences on teaching Dying at Home program in some very different cultures. I know a vital aspect of our Dying at Home program is about its potential to provide an important transforming influence in society. Perhaps the most important transformation it offers is the awareness that the dying time of life is the peak of our living, especially significant in societies which only value doing, achieving, and acquiring. Transforming effects are intimately bound to culture. Culture can be defined as the beliefs, customs, and social behaviour of a particular people or society handed down from one generation to the next through language and imitation. Yet culture can be a dynamic thing where differences occur. There can be an advancement and change for greater good. However, it is important to honour some cultural beliefs and practices that we must at times sensitively work alongside without intruding into. I think the greatest thing is that our 8-step program is so simple and in essence cuts below cultural difficulties as the natural community practice it is. Dying at Home program is in essence a social movement, a program that advances the preciousness of life, teaches sharing of individual gifts and capabilities between people who come together in a bond of friendship and loving care around a dying person. This promotes within a community of family, friends and neighbours deep bondedness, which is lasting. This is what a social movement should achieve, and then we further experience the opportunity to bridge cross-cultural boundaries whilst always practicing the best of cultural awareness, cultural safety and cultural respect in terms of differences. Dying at Home program promotes a culture of care and a culture of compassion. For an example of culture of care, let me take you to Timor-Leste. Whilst a people of deep spirituality and strong religious beliefs based on a theology of love can leave a dying person alone, in pain, and even starving. Here, Dying at Home program, following on our leadership training, resulted in a dramatic change in this aspect of their culture to one of care, love, recognising the dignity of the person and providing a peaceful death. This places the dying person as the pivot around this cultural shift. Probably the greatest gift we pass on is a culture of compassion. All the cultural attributes that Dying at Home program brings to each unique culture are to be interwoven, sometimes taught in a specific culture, but always found to be positively received. A lovely vignette to illustrate. In our training program in Timor-Leste, quite early on, several trainees, including a doctor, actually stood up and called out, "You have given us a new culture of compassion, compassion for the dying person." Remember, they were often neglected here. And also a culture of compassion for the family caregiver. And they went on to say, we must have Dying at Home program for the whole of Timor-Leste now. And so it happened. It is true. It brings tears to my eyes knowing that Dying at Home program has become part of village life in the region of Makata. On the subject of a culture of compassion, our hearts were aching working with African people dying of AIDS in desolation in South Africa. Their strong culture was torn into shreds in this terrible time, replaced by a culture of total abandonment, terror, and beliefs of witchcraft as causation. Our wonderful trainees, some of them infected already, learned from our program how to bring a culture of compassion to these villages where so often mothers were dying, cared for by a child of head of household, abandoned by their family and community. We taught the seemingly impossible and actually found the way to bring family, friends and neighbours to come together in a dramatic restoration of culture, to love and care for their dying and embrace community enrichment. I believe people of all countries can grow to build a greater culture of compassion and thereby universally enabling a good death, as defined by Jared Mannion, who stated, "A good death is to die loving and being loved." I cannot help but think, working together as we have and will do in our future spread of Dying at Home program, the place we occupy, together with all people, is in our deep connectedness with all humanity. Then we look forward to embrace the dignity of all people, especially our dying loved ones, and our growth in spirituality, which must surely be our highest goals. I close with this quote from Pope Francis that moved me deeply. In his book Laudato Si, he advances a culture of care in global needs, emphasizing this is our part of our spirituality, an exercise of charity, and as such matures and sanctifies us. Thank you.